How's it going, everybody? And welcome back to our NSX-T series. So in this video, I'm going to kick it off with walking you guys through how to build out the port groups for vSwitch 0 and creating a new vSwitch, setting up the security rules if you need to, and then creating the lab port group and setting it for trunking for 4095 so we can do a bunch of VLAN tags and all that good stuff. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into this process here. It's actually pretty straightforward. I'm going to click on the networking here. And let me go ahead and get out of the way just so there's more screen space. So out of the gate, you get vSwitch 0, right? What you get is you've got the port groups here. And I can go ahead and change the names of these guys. Actually, let me go ahead and pull this off screen so I can see what I actually told you I was going to put them in. So CSR uplinks. I'm going to go ahead and here edit this guy. I'm going to call the CSR-uplinks-VLAN 20. I'm going to do VLAN. Actually, no, I take that back. Yeah, I'll roll with 20. 20 is fine. And then security, I'm going to accept all these variables. So promiscuous mode, MAC address changes, ports transmits, all that good. Just make sure that they're set to accept. So we have that. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for VLAN 21. Actually, take that back. I'm going to go back to vSwitch 0, and I'm going to say settings. I said not uplink, networking. Networking tab. I'm going to say port groups. I'm going to add a port group. This guy is going to be called CSR-uplinks-VLAN 21. VLAN 21, attach to vSwitch 0, and then security, I'm going to set everything to accept. Add. There we go. So there's that. Now on the virtual switches, we have lab switch. Now lab switch, I've actually got this already created. I did that by accident. I didn't think it was already there. But I have the lab port group, and so what I can do is I can come in here, and basically what you do, you would go back to networking, port groups, add a port group like I just did, and then you just match it to the specific switch that you want to have to use it with. So that's basically all you would do. So you'd say lab switch, and then whatever the name is going to be, then you would specify. You can do it this way, but that takes forever. 4095. You can go down if you like, but if you go up, that's as high as it goes. So the highest number you can go in there happens to be the trunking capability, and then just check your accept and all that good stuff. So that's basically all you have to do there. Now, these port groups right here, when you have them created, what that basically allows you to do is when you create a new virtual machine and you want to create a couple of adapters, what you're going to do is at that network adapter level, you're going to click the drop down and select whatever port group name you want to map that adapter to. So let me go ahead and show you what I mean. I'm going to go ahead and click on virtual machines. I'm going to create the domain controller first. So I'm going to come in here. It's going to be a new virtual machine. I'm going to go ahead and say this is going to be DCV-DC1. Actually, I'm going to come in here and say NSX-DC1. The guest OS family is going to be Windows, and the OS version is going to be 2016 right there. Click on Next. I'm going to put this on Data Store 2. And then I'm going to create another network adapter. 2 CPUs is fine. I'm going to give this 8192 in RAM. Hard disk is going to be 90 gigs, but I'm going to thin provision it, so only use what you need. And I'm going to put network adapter 1 is going to be in VM network. Network adapter 2 is going to be in lab port group. Then the CD DVD drive, I'm going to say data store ISO file. And on DS1, you can grab it from there. I don't know if I uploaded it to DS2. I did not. So DS1, I'm going to say Windows Server 2016. I'm going to select that. I'm going to click on Next and then Finish. Okay. Now that we have that in place, we're going to go ahead and click on the name. And I'm going to click on Power On. Click inside, hit the Enter key. So it's going to start booting up, and we should be in pretty good shape from there. So now the process of basically waiting for it to install comes in. So this should go pretty quick. Click next. Install now. Setup is starting. So I'm going to mute myself as this goes along, and I'll just fast forward stuff in post. Okay, so I'm going to select Standard Evaluation Desktop Experience. Click Next. Accept license terms. We're going to do custom install, put it on the 90 gig hard drive. Click Next. There you go. So I'm going to, again, just mute myself until everything's good to go.
Of course, we got Nicholas, who lives right up the hill in an amazing looking house on the top of the most beautiful hill ever. The girls are all coffeeed up. We're glad y'all could join us. First though, before we get on these awesome rafts, so today's gonna be a little bit different. Let me tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna jump on these 2 rafts with Smiley, who you saw yesterday, and one of his buddies, and we're gonna go down the river, pulling all the traps that we set yesterday. But we do have one that's right here that we can go to by foot. So we're gonna pull the first one, and then we're gonna put all the crawfish out of each trap in a bucket and take them back to the beach in Montego Bay where we're staying and cook crawfish on the most amazing looking beach ever. And y'all are coming along shotgun. Oh,
No.
do we have any though?
No.
So one thing that Smiley told us yesterday is crawfish on a full moon don't get out and move much because they're in a molting process.
Yeah.
We do have one cool looking thing though.
Oh, that's a shrimp.
Look at this dude. How often do you see shrimp crawl on you like a bug?
Yeah, right? It was buggy.
I had super high hopes for this trap. I thought for sure it was gonna be full. Dang, I can't believe there's nothing in there. So, one thing I decided yesterday, I'm gonna give Smiley all these traps because he works on this river and he gives these crawfish to all the natives around here. This is an awesome little community slash village, I guess you would call it, full of amazing people. So each trap we pull, we're gonna put right back. They still have bait in them.
Yeah.
But now it's time to get on these rafts. Now, how do people find this area? What's the name of this little place to where they can come and get on the rafts with you?
All right, now this little place is called Leety. It's on the border between Hanover and St. James. It's the Great River, yeah, bamboo rafting.
And
all right.
Let me explain something. These dudes can, how long is that raft? About 25 feet, 30 feet?
Yeah.
He can go down these rapids. Oh my God, I don't know how he does it. I can't control my 2 motorboat like you guys control that raft. So with no further ado, let's load up and get this party started.
All right. We're about to head off. This is myself and Lauren's first time on the raft. Gabe came down here yesterday. Look at him.
You guys, yesterday yesterday I actually caught a bunch by hand and we pulled some of the traps that were set the night before. So we've actually got a good mess of these crawfish to cook. But today, to make sure we have a good amount, I'm gonna try my hardest to actually catch some and let Kelly do most of the talking until we get down to where we're stopping.
Babe, there's a lot of weight in the back of this thing.
Yeah, wait till you see these rapids. I went down them on my butt yesterday and it hurt.
Oh my gosh. All right, Smiley.
Ready?
We ready? So last time Blue, Gabe, and myself were here, we actually saw these rafts and we never got the chance to actually go on them. So I'm happy that we're experiencing it now. So pretty. I guess it was someone's birthday earlier because...
You see this deep spot right here? That's where I caught a big one yesterday.
In the middle of the day too. Oh, it's so pretty.
I'm
out
fixing
here.
to bail ship.
First one right here in there.
Whoa, don't get run over.
Where's it at?
Right there.
Oh yeah, the first one right there.
Oh boy. High five fall on this thing. It's actually pretty sturdy.
Yeah. That's why we use multiple sticks, you know?
Yes.
They're There's a big one just outside of the trap, but not in it yet. I'm gonna try to catch him.
Catch him. As you would tell Redneck, go catch him, go catch him. Go catch him. Ow. Whoa, whoa. Gabriel? Gosh. He 100% did that on purpose.
Okay.
He got a small one in his hand.
All right, you have to come in here close. Grab our bucket, boo. Look at this giant thing we wanted to kill.
It's an original, yeah.
Oh, a big prawn.
Look at that.
Yeah.
We actually have these Smiley at our house in a canal right behind, or a creek right behind my house.
Damn, that's a big one.
Yeah, he's huge. Oh man, I thought he was... That's it though. That's crazy.
One more in you.
Oh yeah, one more.
Are they tiger prawns? I think that's what we call them.
I just couldn't
Prawns.
Nope, another one.
Hey, don't be making us sink over here.
That's Nick.
All right, let's keep going. Next one. You'll remember where these are at?
Yeah.
Oh, it's cold. Oh, it's cold.
Yeah.
All right, bucket.
Big one. Still
I don't know where this needs to go. Right here?
Alright, first up.
I am so impressed with these bamboo rafts. I kind of want to make one for back home. I don't know where we would use it, but this thing is sturdy. And it's not really slippery either, unless they scrub them. But I like it. I'm digging it. All right, trap number 2. Rahel. Oh boy.
Wait till you see this.
I like the sound of that.
Oh gosh.
This is the biggest one I've ever seen.
Drop all. It must be a massive one because we caught a pretty big one last year.
I ain't even risking opening the trap until I get him out.
Oh, okay.
A little bit more.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and set the password here, which is going to be just capital P @SSW0RD and repeat. So in case anybody's curious what that looks like, just that. Should they all line up, which they do, click on finish, and voila. Our password is set. We'll get a login prompt, and we'll be in good shape. So obviously it is not 6:30 p.m. DHCP is enabled on my network, which is why I got the little network ID right there. I'm going to go to guest OS, send keys, Control Alt Delete, and then we'll be able to log in and all that good stuff. All right, so give that a moment here to do its thing. And we should be in good shape. All right, so we're logged in. We're going to click yes for that. And I'm going to go ahead and once the little spinny thing goes away, I'm going to make a couple of adjustments to this guy to settings. And we're going to, it says turn system icons on or off. And I'm going to turn the clock off and the volume. I don't need that on. I just need the network adapter. Okay. So there we go. I'm going to close that out. I am going to click on local server and make a couple of adjustments to this that we need to have. First one here is going to be IE enhanced security config. I'm going to turn that to off. Click OK. The Date and time, I'm going to be Central Time, US and Canada. Just like that. We are activated. And I'm going to, oh, you notice right here where it says E5 2650 at 2.0 gigahertz. That's the underlying CPU being detected by the OS. I'm going to go ahead and click the refresh guy here. Good, now we're Central Time. I'm going to go ahead and say remote desktop. I'm going to enable that. Allow remote connections to this computer. Click OK. But uncheck the network level authentication. Click apply and OK. Now I'm going to right click here and change the IP addresses. And we're going to be referencing the these IP addresses right here. 10.255.180 and 172.31.1.254. So I'm going to click on this guy here, details. You get an IP address through DHCP. I'm going to go to properties. I'm going to change that IP. Be 10.255.1.80/24 mask and 10.255.1.1 and then quad 8 as my DNS server, at least temporarily until I can promote this guy to a domain controller. Click close. I'm going to click here. I'm going to say properties, IPv4, set the IP address. This will be 172.31.1.254/24 mask. 172.31.1.1 is my gateway. And then for right now, it's going to be quad 8 is my DNS. So we'll be good to go there. Because eventually, technically, actually, you know what? I don't need a gateway for this device. No gateway needed. Because he'll have his gateway through the other adapter. Now, in case you're wondering, okay, what about the other devices? The other devices will be getting a gateway, and that'll be the CSR 1000Vs. Because this will be the gateway for everything that's attached to this lab port group. And I don't need a gateway here because I have access through that network right there. So let's go ahead, and the next thing I have to do is I'm going to change the name on here. And I'm going to say DC1. Click on OK. That'll require a reboot, but I'm not going to reboot it right now. I'm going to install VMware tools real quick. Close, restart later. And then I'm going to go to actions up here in the upper right. Go to why is that? Oh, that's right. Not there. I've got to go to. Why did that not work? Oh, this is 702. That's right. Edit settings. I want to install VMware tools. In 6.7, it's actions and it's guest OS. Actions. There we go. This is, sorry, they moved it to here. Guest OS, install VMware tools. Same as if you were on inside of vCenter. So I'm gonna click back inside of here and then click on that guy. Run the update, or run the installer, I should say. Give that a couple seconds to do its thing. I'm going to go ahead and click on next, typical install, and then install. And then give that, it takes about 30 seconds or so. I'm going to pause until it's done. All right, we're going to click on finish, and then we're going to go ahead and restart. Now, once it restarts, I'm going to pause here in just a second. Once it restarts, we'll be in good shape. And then I'm going to actually disconnect the server attachment to it, unselect the ISO, basically push the eject button on the CD player. And then I'm going to go through and upgrade this guy to a domain controller. So I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so here we are. We're squared away this way. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and RDP into this box. So I'm going to pull up my remote desktop capability here, and I'm going to plug in 1.80 and click on, I'm going to delete the existing credentials and click on connect. We should get a prompt. I'm going to type in administrator and then the password. Say remember me, click on OK. I'm going to say don't ask me again and say yes. So now we're going to be able to log in to the desktop. So there's going to be a couple things we're going to need to do out of the gate. This will also be the box that we do all of our administration from. But I'll show you guys what that looks like here in just a minute. Alright, so now we're logged in here. We're going to minimize that guy. And I'm going to go ahead and pull up Internet Explorer. I'm going to download Google Chrome real quick. And we'll go ahead and say OK. And I'm going to type in here google.com. And it should give a pop-up for, yep, we're going to say yes for Chrome. We're going to go ahead and download Chrome. And then we're going to run the installer. There's that piece. Google Chrome is probably the best web browser you can use when it comes to running any type of vCenter or vSphere or VMware product. It's got the best interaction. So there we go. I don't mean to brag, but I do have pretty fast internet here at home. That'll take just a moment to do its thing. Now, while that's installing, I'm going to bring this guy over here. We're going to make this server manager here just a little bit smaller. And we're going to go through the upgrading or the installation and promotion of a domain controller. So I'm going to close Internet Explorer out. I'm going to go ahead and pin this to the taskbar. I'm also going to come in here and go to google.com. And I'm going to type in here PuTTY download. And we're going to go ahead and download PuTTY from here. I'm going to download the 64-bit version. And that's going to allow us to log in via SSH to a lot of different stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this guy up here, run it, and I'm going to right-click and pin to taskbar. Okay, cool. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and minimize Chrome. I'm going to go over here to Manage. Say add roles and features. Click on next. Remote, it's going to be role-based or feature-based install. On this guy right here, I'm going to choose Active Directory Domain Services. Check the checkbox, click Add Features, and then we're just going to next all the way through. And then install. So this process will take some time. I'm going to pause while it's doing its install. Alright, so the installation succeeded, so the availability of promoting this server to a domain controller is now available. And that's essentially what we just did. We just installed the service, so now we get to go ahead and promote this guy to a domain controller. So we can either click right here, or you can go over to this guy right here, and you can click the notifications and click it right there. So either one works. It just doesn't matter which one you do. I'm going to just click right here and promote this guy to a domain controller. And now you just have to set up the Active Directory details, the domain services config wizard. I'm going to say this is a new forest. I'm going to be joining the NSX.local as are going to be our root domain. So literally everything is going to be .nsx.local. So it'll be vcsa.nsx.local. Now the directory services restore mode password, we're going to go ahead and set that here. And it's going to be the same password we're going to be using for everything. Just like that. Click on next. Next. And you'll see NSX show up here in the NetBIOS domain name. There we go. Click next. And it's just going to be a bunch of the same stuff over and over and over again. Well, just the next portion of it. I don't ever mess with any of the defaults. Next. And then it's doing a prerequisite check, making sure all the ducks are in a row, making sure everything's good to go. And then we're going to proceed. And once that's done, we'll be able to go to the next stage of doing the actual install and the promotion. And then there will be a brief reboot of the server, and we'll log in as a domain admin and not a local admin. I'm going to say install. It's doing a couple of other checks. And we'll be able to click next here in just a second. Alright, after probably a solid 10 minutes, this is what we end up coming out with. So we're in good shape now. It's going to kick us out and reboot. So there we go. My RDP session just went away, and it's going to go ahead and reboot, and then I will take a quick break, pause the recording. Once the guys comes back on and we're all back up, I'm going to disconnect the ISO file to it, and then we'll be in good shape. Alright, so everything's back up and running again. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my RDP session. Now it's going to prompt us. We're going to be dc1.nsx.local. Say, yep, that's fine. But however, it's going to bug out and say it's the wrong password. So we're going to click on OK. We're going to say sign in. So what we have to do now is I'm actually going to close this out, show you how to fix this. I'm going to right click on my RDP option here. And now it says that username administrator. That's actually incorrect. We need to delete it. Yep. Click on connect. But we're going to have to go and go more choices, use a different account. We're going to say NSX/administrator. And then the same password we've been using. We're logging in as a domain admin. We're going to click on OK. And then we're going to be able to authenticate. Now, you don't have to do that. You could change it back to be DC1 administrator, or you can do a // and that'll force you to log in as a local admin. Both ways work. Alright, so we're all back and ready to go. Next thing I'm going to go have to do is come over here to the tools section, click on DNS, and I'm actually going to bring the RDP session down and scoot it over just a little bit and bring up our topology. And I'm going to scoot this over just a little bit and zoom back in so we can have all of our, go ahead, we're going to click on this guy, DC1. We're going to click on expand it and double click on forward lookup zones, and then double click on nsx.local, and there we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to take all these guys and add them into DNS real quick. I'm going to show you guys how to do that real quick. So right click, add host. I'm going to type in here dc1-esxi1, and the IP address is 172.31.1.11. Click on add host. And we're going to bring that guy over, click on OK. And it's going to be dc1-esxi2, and then it's going to be 172.31.1.13. Add host. And then it's going to be dc1-esxi3, 172.31.1.13, and then dc1-esxi4, 172.31.1.14, dc1-esxi5, 172.31.1.15, and then dc1-esxi6, 172.31.1.16. And then last but certainly not least, we're going to go ahead and type in 172.31.1.51 is going to be our for management. Actually, this is going to be DC1-SAN, and then we're going to do a 172.31.1.51 for our storage array. There we go. Okay, now that we've got that all squared away, the next thing we're going to go ahead and do is click on done, and that's all of the minimums that we need. Now there will be additional entries that we're going to have to make, so I'm always going to have the DNS manager pulled up, so I'm going to basically be able to do this. Have this guy up here. He'll always be there. So then we'll flip over to the background and then pull up Chrome and then have all of our stuff squared away and ready to go there. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much it for this initial video and how to go through and get everything up and running. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to take care of a bunch of other variables as we get further along, and all that good stuff that goes along with that. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section below. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I'll catch all of you in the next video.